Hey, good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. This is another Friday with Sam, and I'm really happy to have with me one of my friends and a person that I look up to, brother Ahmer Nadeem Memon. Ahmer, assalamu alaikum, brother Ahmed.
Wa alaikum
Ahmed.
assalam, Sam.
Ahmed, I known him through his community work, and not only in the Pakistani community, but not also the Muslim community, but really throughout the Calgary community. He's everywhere. He's done so many amazing things. I'm here today with the Ahmed to learn more about our friends that's in the Pakistani community in Calgary, and also to have the opportunity to learn from their experiences. So before we start, I just want to tell you something, Ahmed. Congratulations on your win. I think that was a year ago when you became the president.
Yeah, that's
Or
right.
over.
We completed 1 year. Last year in August, we took over charge,
Right.
and it's actually
So
a year and a quarter. Yeah.
year and quarter. So the reason I mentioned this because I remember back then, a year and a half or something, your community ran the most amazing uh, so-called election campaign. It's like running for the state. It was such just an amazing experience, and we're going to talk about it later. But I want you to know I'm still mesmerized by what I've seen with the Pakistani community and how they really manage to bring all these people together and really achieve, in my opinion, a democratic process within the democratic process of Canada. So before I start, I want to say that you've done an amazing job and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
Ahmed, for those who speak Arabic, I'm gonna tell you what Ahmer's name. His name is Ahmer Nadeem Memon. So that's the Arabic version of his name. But when it says Arabi Pakistani, usually it's kind of like for people not really familiar with our community, they think we are like one community. But as you know, ethnic line is important to all of us. So tell us a little bit. Tell us about the Pakistani community, and let's start with that. In
Yes, Sam.
Calgary.
We in Calgary. I came in '98.
Yes.
Before that, 3 years I was in Vancouver, and our community came to Edmonton and in Calgary about easily I can say 50, 60 years ago. And
Okay.
then since then they are here. There are unofficial numbers that we are about between 25 and 30,000 Pakistanis living over here in Calgary alone, and about 100,000 Canada wide. So as I said again, the numbers could not be confirmed because there is no
You
data.
don't have a statistic, right?
The statistics, they don't ask the country of origin, they just ask language, so that's why it's hard. But
I think we're Arabs. We have the same problems. So you're
yeah,
roughly between 25 to 30,000.
that's right. And Arabs, I heard about 80 to 100,000. You can correct me on that.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's leave it. So you only 30,000? My goodness. And how come you just rule the world with 30,000?
Um, yeah, because mostly it's the cold weather. People avoid coming here, and only
Right.
the engineers were attracted to come over here. And we
Right.
got in Calgary, we got largest number of Pakistani doctors and
Oh.
physicians over here
Mm.
among all the cities. So because it's a Fort Mac and oil-ridden country or county or province, so mostly there are technical people over here in Alberta.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Alberta, roughly how many, if we 25, 30,000 in Calgary, Alberta wide, roughly how many?
Yeah, again, I would say about 25 kind of here, 25 or 20 in Edmonton. So that will be 40, 45.
Oh, sorry, I
Saskatchewan has
missed
the
that.
highest
I
number.
completely
Yeah.
skipped that.
Yeah.
Any community in like in Red Deer, Lethbridge,
Yeah,
here
there
and
are a few,
there?
like a couple of hundred kind of thing, not much. And
Oh, I see.
then
Okay.
then again in Ontario, there are many, like say 70, 60,000. kind of
Right.
over there. So yeah.
Right. So majority or the main bulk of the Pakistani community, are they here? So are they here as like because of they have high educations, or just like any other community? It's a mixed bag of all kind of uh, uh, skills and qualifications.
No, there are a variety of experiences because mostly the business class or the professional class, they want to know somebody around so that when they land here, they have somebody to take care of them. So most
Right.
of the majority of the people go to Toronto initially, but now people have understood that Vancouver and Alberta is also places where they can go, and
Right.
so they have started coming over here. So there's a much greater increase in last few years over here in the
Oh, I see.
population. Yeah.
And in terms of in terms of numbers, we have roughly 25 to 30 here, 45,000 roughly throughout the province. Uh, uh, Ahmed, when it comes to your community, the Pakistani community, how many registered or let's say well-known organization that play an important role in managing your community besides
Sam,
the Pakistani Canadian Association?
yeah, there are different tiers for the community association. Our association was established about 60 years ago.
Okay.
So PCA is there since a long time ago, and then we own our own community hall, and also we bought 10 acres of
I'm
land
sorry,
as well.
Ahmed. Was that 60?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
mashallah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That was the first organization established here. And then there are some cultural small organizations, provincial, based on provincial areas,
Right.
and a lot of charity organizations we have. We are proud of those. I would say about 8 or 10 charity organizations which are working on different
Wow.
tiers, helping the immigrants and the refugees.
Right.
And then there are political organizations, the political parties which are in Pakistan, so their branches are here. So those are another 6, 7 parties, so there is a mixture. But
Oh, I see.
PCA is the main like umbrella organization, and everybody like to work together when it comes to the community issues. They just
Hmm.
look towards us.
Oh, I see. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask these questions or not, but I'm gonna throw it on the table and see how we goes. I think for us Arabs, Canadian, we have a little bit of, I don't want to say identity struggle, or we have a struggle. I don't want to call it identity struggle between identify ourselves as Arabs or as Muslims. That having said that, that doesn't mean all Arabs are Muslims, because we know there's like 30% probably they are not Muslims. But I'd say for the Muslim one, when you say I'm Arabs, it's some people say, you know what, you're not supposed to say you're Arab, you're supposed to you're Muslims, or and vice versa. Do you have similar? Do you have similar struggle? If I'm correct, maybe I could be wrong, but it's all of my own interpretation.
Sam, mostly majority of Pakistani call them Pakistani.
Right.
So that's the first introduction when you ask where are you are from. So they will say, yeah, we are Pakistani. So, but I think this issue is with our first generation people who we came here 10 or 20 years ago. We still want to call ourselves as a Pakistani or Muslim or Arab. I think our second generation or younger generation, they just call them Canadians. So if you ask any young kid, who you are, he will say, "Yeah, I'm proud Canadian." So it will,
Okay.
fizzle down slowly. I think in next 5, 10, 20 years, this
So you
issue.
think this is a first generation
This is my
struggle?
my personal opinion that we still are, our ties are with back home. We still feel
Right.
proud being from our country, and we want to proudly represent that we are from that part of the world. But
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
think, yeah, but yeah, I met with young generation and youth groups and stuff. They just say, yeah, we are Canadians, and you have to
Right.
force them 3, 4 times, where your parents are from and where your ancestors are from,
Oh, I
where you
see.
migrated. So after 3 questions, they will say, yeah, we are from such and such
Right.
country.
Okay. Well, makes sense. So, and I think that's something also we can learn from it. Is this is the first generation issue, and I'm happy to hear that. Maybe it's a big issue in my head. We shouldn't really concentrate much about it, but it's still there because especially those first generation, as you can as you know, those first generation, they come here, they spend the first 10, 15 years of their lives building their like financial empire. And as soon as they do that, they move to a community work, and they want to volunteers, they want to do something. Unfortunately, the first thing you see they want to do is they want to do something related to the old country. They start to focus on the policy of the old country. They start to focus on bringing the community under the banner of Syrian, Pakistani, Egyptian, Lebanese, and stuff like that. As you said, till we reach a second and third generation, this will not be an issue. So, having said that, tell us a little bit about uh, uh, which is I noticed this myself. A lot of work of the Pakistani community in Calgary. I would say I see it focused more on Pakistan and doing some projects in Pakistan. I don't want to say more than Canada, but it's very obvious you do a lot of work in Pakistan, and I see that through two things. Um, Building hospitals. I think you always rally your community to build hospitals in Pakistan, and also I think you take a lot of pride in making project to drill wells. And I always ask myself, why is that? Why is it like so embedded in the Pakistani community here? Always try to raise money for the wells, and also why it's hospitals all the time. Not here in Calgary or in Canada as much as back home, back in the old country, I should say.
Uh, Sam, again, it goes back to the first generation.
Hmm.
Our countries gave us everything: education, engineering education, medical education. Those are subsidized in our country, and we pay a very little amount. And once we are qualified, we do a little bit service to our country. Then we came over here. So
Right.
there is a little bit of guilt, first of all, that we left or abandoned our country just for our own self. I remember going back to visit my lands. My farmers came and they said, "Well, um, why you left us?" And I said, "Well, because of my kids' education and stuff. I went there." This is about 30, 40 years ago. And the old people from my farmers, they said, "Well, we were your kids as well. You didn't thought about us, and if you were here, you could have got us some jobs and some other things, but you decided to go for your kids." So
Right.
that's the guilt you feel. And then looking the conditions over there, poverty, no health facilities. There are good hospitals, some, but not everywhere. So,
Right.
and there are some charitable hospitals who don't have a cash counter. They just treat free everybody free, especially cancer hospital and other hospitals, and they just survive on for the salaries and equipments and medicines on the donations from overseas. So that's why we feel a little bit obligated that once a year we collect some money and
Right.
send it back so that health facilities are there. As far as water connection, water wells is concerned, that is my personal project. I started about 8 years ago. And
Hmm.
what happened there? Some famine came, and 3 years there was no rain. So we have world's ninth largest desert over there. It's third
Hmm.
desert. Two-third is in India, one-third is in Pakistan. And there are miles and miles of sand dunes over there. And there are some typical tribes who live over there on different dunes, and they have got goats and sheeps, which once a week they go in the town, sell one sheep or goat, and get the groceries and come back. So that's their
Right.
way of life. And there is no water over there. So what
Right.
happens that their ladies or women, they pick up two or three pitchers on their head and walk about 1 or 2 kilometers in burning sand bare feet to get the water, and then they bring the water back. And then in about 5 to 10 years their backbone bends, and then they deform, and then this painful and stuff. And what happens when they bring 1 or 2 pitcher of water, they just can cook with that. So they can't do hygiene, they cannot take showers, their kids cannot take showers, they cannot wash their hands all the time. So what happens that
Hmm.
they get food poisoning and stuff, and then they start diarrhea and other things, and their kids die. So we started this project, and mashallah, in about 8 years, we have got over 1,200 villages. We have provided water over there, either hand pumps or the water wells, and it's a sweet water. And then mortality ratio or death ratio has reduced as well, because they are now taking showers, their animals are drinking water and stuff. So that's kind of thing which, with the support of the friends over here and in Pakistan locally, I decided that. And luckily, in 8 years, none of the water well has dried up or the hand pump has dried up. So water is still there
Alhamdulillah.
because we keep on maintaining it. So it's the poverty and it's the guilt. So we give back. And but we also work here for different charities, like we give our time to Mustard Seed and other as a volunteers as well. So
Right.
it goes both ways. Yeah.
Is it fair to say, if we want to put it in the umbrella of the Muslim community, uh, if we want to put all of us under that umbrella, is it fair to say the Pakistani community are actively involved in the municipalities activities in the politics of the province and the country? Because I've seen this in the election campaigns. I see that in the meeting the officials. I see really a lot of effort made by the politicians to reach out to the Pakistani community, and they have community halls and this and that. So are, are you studies? First of all, do you feel that the Pakistani community are politically and socially active enough in the city of Calgary?
No, Sam, that's the unfortunate things that we immigrants, even spending 40, 30 years here, we
Right.
are still not comfortable with the mainstream Canadians. We don't attend their programs, we don't mix up with them. Even in the office atmosphere, when there is a lunch party or anything or a meeting, you will see that Pakistanis or our Arab friends will sit together in different their tables. They are not comfortable sitting with their Canadian counterpart. And that's one of the reason of, maybe I could say, that racism as well, because Canadians don't know us, how humble, how good we are, because we don't interact. We are shy. We are in our own inner shell. We just like to meet with our own communities, and be our own circle. So
When you say
that's
Canadian, I mean we are Canadian. You're Canadian. I'm Canadian. What do you mean
Caucasians.
by? You're a
Caucasians.
Caucasian. Okay,
Caucasians, yeah. So
Caucasians.
yeah,
Okay,
so Caucasians, we don't mix up with them. It's very rare. So we should be getting more and more involved. And again, you see our second generation, they go to their schools, they've got Caucasian friends and all kind of things. So I think this gap will reduce. And but that has splitted the youth or the younger generation, their personality
right,
outside the home. When they are spending 8 or 10 hours in the school, they got a different face. They are very friendly with their friends, they go play basketball, other games and stuff. As soon as they enter in the house, they have to put another face, assalamu alaikum, and religious talks, and parents will tell, have you prayed or not? Have you done your homework or not? Don't spend time on cell phone, be here, sit together. So they have a split personality. Then they go into the isolation, they close themselves, lock themselves out in the rooms. They just come when they are shouted upon to eat the dinner with us. So that's again, I've seen a problem increase in the violence or the gang violence related crimes, the drugs, alcohol and other things, because they want to be heard, they want to be friendly. So I'm working on that project as well, to find out the reasons and how to approach that youth. So I'm actively working on that project through PCA. But my request to the parents would be friendly with them, because if you are friendly, then they will share the problems with you guys or us.
right,
But if we are always, telling them not to do this, not to do that, they will not share the things with us, and then
right.
it will be too late once we know.
Ahmad, I just want to make sure that I'm clear on this because I think this is such a sensitive point. what you just described as the split personality, split world, or two different world, like inside, outside, and stuff like that. Help me to make sure that I understand you correctly. Are we talking about all immigrants? They have this kind of split personality, or an immigrant with Muslim background? There are more so-called like that more sensitive issue to them versus just like any average immigrant. Please help me to
No.
understand that point.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the religion, but I think
Hmm.
it's more of our culture because
Hmm.
we are not comfortable, as I said, making friends. Like in our neighborhood, it's very rare that couple of next door neighbors, you will go there and talk to them and be friendly, because you are hesitant, shy, go and knock the door. But if there are your own Pakistani or Arab neighbors, you will invite them, you will do party with them, you're more comfortable. So
Okay.
same is with the youth, so uh, it's not a religion, but it's the culture thing, that when you go
Is it
home.
us? Is it us who feel this way, or also the other side make you feel that way as well, or maybe just our own programming?
I can see that slogans or slurs, go back home, go from where you came from. Why is
Okay.
that? The youth, the Caucasian youth, don't know you well. They don't have many Asian friends, Middle Eastern friends, so they don't know us. So they think that we are burden on them and we are some aliens, over here. So they always say that. And I think that if we mix up with them more in our offices, in our cultural programs and
In our
political
neighborhood.
parties, in our neighborhoods, and even in the political parties, everywhere. Like, I don't know about your Arab
Same,
friends, but
very same, very same.
yeah, in Pakistani, if I say 30,000 or 25,000, for example, I don't think that even 2,000 Pakistanis will have a membership of any political party.
Mm.
They don't carry because they don't go with NDP or United Conservative Party or Liberals. They don't have this membership, political membership. They don't go on their EDA platforms. They don't volunteer with them. So
Right.
that's the thing. We are in a circle, and that's why we are not mixing up ourselves with the local community, you say, or with the local atmosphere. So.
Yeah, I understand. But I always ask myself questions. Is this struggle of us only because when I compare the Pakistani community, Arab community, let's say with the Sikh community or with the Ismaili community, I feel like the Sikh community and the Ismaili community, for some reason, they are way ahead of other communities. And I think to myself, well, okay, well, if it's a racial issues, it's a skin color. I mean, that really doesn't make any sense. So there must be something else, and I'm trying to identify that things.
I'll give you one reason. The
Okay.
Sikh community came here over 100 years ago,
Okay.
110 years ago or 105 years ago. So they bought the farmlands, and now they are established. Being here in 100 years, they are rich, they are established. Their kids are established, they are in businesses. Now they
Hmm.
can spare their time to go and mix up and go in politics and go in everything. We are just 30, 40 years old over here.
Okay. Okay.
Most of the families.
Same like
Yeah,
Ismaili community, 40, 50 years.
yeah, yeah. And we are still struggling because we just came here, refugees came here, or we came on asylum, and we are still, even the professionals who came here are still
Right.
struggling.
Okay.
So all the time we are out in the jobs, 8 hours, 10 hours jobs, try to ends meet. We don't
Right.
have time for that. So to socialize. So once we become rich and carefree, making money, seniors, then probably we'll have spare time to do those socializing. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I think let's agree on at least where we at now. There's issues of first generation that we should really isolate it from the rest of the community and make sure this is a first generation issues, conflicts, self interest. It does not really cause harm to the rest of the community because I think we suffer of this. You suffer of that, and I think we're trying to learn from all from each other experiences. So when it comes to second generation Pakistani, uh, are you satisfied slash you think it's enough, or at least you reach the satisfaction level when it comes to engagement in communities, success in their and financial and social, or you think also the second generation still have, beside the discrimination and go back to your country syndrome, they are doing okay?
They are a lot better than us. Still, because of the pressure from the parents, if they
Right.
say that we want to play ice hockey, will say, "Oh, kid, you will fall down, you will break your bones, so don't go and play ice hockey or basketball or stuff. So we discourage them not to be a boy scout, not to go and on the field trips. How can you go alone with the field trip? How can you stay 2 nights out? We are very protective of our kids. let
Right.
them let them loose, let them go and do what a Canadian kid. Skiing, I think only 5% of the kids would be able to ski because parents don't want them to do skiing. So Canadian games, Canadian ice hockey, when ice hockey is there, very rarely us Pakistani watch on the TV or ask kids to enjoy those games. We
Right.
watch cricket, or we watch different political programs. So that's the thing. We are not freeing our kids or even ourselves, to merge into the culture. Like religion, you can still keep your religion, but socializing and culturally, we should mix up. We are
We should.
ambassadors. We are ambassadors of our country. If we go to the restaurant and we give a $2 tip or $3 tip, what he or she will think? Oh, this poor Pakistani, they never
That's
pay
right.
us properly. We never
That's
give
right.
15 or 10%. I mean, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
And if you tip them properly, you take a cab, tip them properly, they will remember you. Oh, this is a good Pakistani. They are generous and stuff like that. So we have to build up our image so that we can mix up with this youth and Caucasians, and they should not tell us to go back where we came from, because they also came from somewhere. They are not natives over here.
Do you think we have a collective conscious about how important to think that way, to say we have to build the image that we like, we need to, we have to build the image that we want people to think about us? Do you think this is a collective work, or just individual, just each one of us look at it differently? I'm not talking about the tip only, I'm talking about the body language, how to interact with your neighbor, how to talk to in general, how to preserve your holidays and other people holidays. It seems to me like there's some kind of, there's two directions. One, and one side will ask for like integration and assimilation with the community, and another voice that plays so hard on your emotions and always play the fear card is, oh, you're going to lose your heritage, you're going to lose your faith, you're going to lose your kids, so preserve it, preserve it, preserve. So and is that, in that struggle, first, is it, does it really exist in the Pakistani community as well? And if so, what would be the solution to calm these isolations down a little bit?
Um, Solution is only that we should start thinking ourselves that we are Canadians, we are proud Canadians, and we
Hmm.
should reflect that in our actions. I can give you an example. There was a friend of mine with me, he was an engineer in Fort Mac, an oil company. He
Right.
didn't want to shake hands with the American bosses, that he will avoid that. And if he shakes the hand, then he will go and wash the hands. So
Oh
and then he
wow.
will go in the camp and check the ice cream tub whether it's all halal ingredients. Guys, it's ice cream, but he will say, the camp manager, I want to see the ingredients and stuff. Like, if you are so
Oh,
much extremist, and then why you came here? Like, if you came to a country, you have to adapt yourself a little bit social and cultural values.
right.
Go and watch the ice hockey, be in their programs, show our faces over there that we are with them. Any political party, pick whatever you want, and go to their conventions, so that way I think that we can mix up and we can loosen up us a little bit. We are very much as you said, protective of our culture and religion and stuff. We don't want to go out that our religion will be damaged or something, so unless we don't change ourselves, it's hard.
But also on the other side, if you try to do that, then you're gonna have the other voices coming from the other end, warning the community about this kind of behavior and this kind of looselessness, and make you feel like you're not even committed to your faith anymore. You're trying to you invite people. Like, I mean, I give you an example. I just at the Christmas time, I really made an effort to just make sure people that they are new into Canada to understand the concept of Christmas and how important just to share the joy of the holidays with your neighbors. And I was really shocked to hear one of these sheikh just like blasting the whole idea and accusing people of using people for their own political gain and all. So I think we do have a struggle, whether we acknowledge it or not. I really think we do have a struggle, and that struggle maybe me and you as a first generation, we don't care much about it, but obviously the second generation are paying a heavy price where they feel they have this split personality. Who am I? Which culture I belong to?
Yeah, my own example, the on a New Year night, police sergeant was killed, unfortunately, in a road accident. And I took some flowers from Pakistani community and went to them and gave them that card and the flowers,
Right,
and there was comments on the Facebook page, he's a lap dog, he went and sit into their lap, of the people, and they want to seek attention seeker and stuff. Guys, it's a human being. He just died, and it's a sympathy. If I show that, people taunt on you like that. So that's
so
one thing.
true.
Second thing, Christmas and stuff, like our kids, 6 year, 8 year, 10 years, grandkids, they go to their schools, and other kids ask them, that what gift Santa gave you, and they say,
Right,
no, we don't celebrate it, we don't know what Santa is, we don't do that. And let them put a small tree in their room, plastic tree or something, give them a couple of gifts, and also celebrate the Eid, and then they can tell their school friends, buddies, we celebrate two occasions. We celebrate Christmas also, and we have our own two Eids as well, which we celebrate. Let them
right,
feel pride, of their own culture. Nobody is stopping you to pray 5 times, you can do that. Along that, mixing up with your neighbors, or going in and mixing in your office, with the white people. Sometimes take them to Tim Horton and drink coffee with them, so that they know how we live, what our traditions are, so
right.
that's the, because that's why we came to Canada. We want to adopt this country. If not, you are so conservative, then why you are coming over here? And
Hmm.
that's why these people tell us, go back where you belong to, so then we get
So
angry.
true. We get angry. So true.
Yeah.
Ahmed, definitely, I want to talk about the PCA as much as possible. But before we go there, I want to touch on the Arab Pakistani relationship from your perspective. Do you think the common effort between the Arab community and the Pakistani community, even keep in mind Arabs are so many bits and pieces and so many pies and stuff, but do you think the level of coordination for the common causes, is it there or need to be improved, or it's not even exist?
No, it's much better than the Caucasian community, because on Eid, especially on these Ramadan and programs in the mosque, we are together, we chat, we know by faces, all of both our community people know each other. So
Right.
traditionally, and because of the religiously, we are more connected together. It's not 100%, but we are more closer with each other than the
Oh,
other Canadians. Yeah.
us. So when it comes to Pakistan Day, which is, I think, I notice it's a big day in your culture. Do you see other non-Pakistani like celebrating that Eid with you? And if so, which community you feel like they are really up to speed with that?
Uh, Well, in offices, when we tell them it's Eid, and then you take some sweets and something to share in their lunchroom, give it to everybody. And especially Ramadan, it's such a excellent. occasion that I think 90% of Canadians know about Ramadan and they respect
Yeah.
about Ramadan. I give you an example. I was in a camp in Fort Mac, Isle Company, and fasting was about 9 o'clock, breaking the fast, and the camp kitchen closes at 8 o'clock.
Mm.
And so we told them, we're about 15 people. We told them that, okay, give us some styrofoam boxes. We'll take the lunch, dinner, and then we'll warm it up because microwaves are there. They said, oh, Ramadan is there. I said, yes. Okay, so no, there will be a special cook coming and they will give you warm meals. And also at
Wow.
Suhoor at 4 o'clock, we'll get some cook. A chef will come there and they will cook you omelets and other eggs, you know.
Oh,
So whole
wow.
Ramadan, they provided the people who were serving us, especially dinner and this, and they gave us one room for the Taraweeh and stuff. So these people are very considerate, you know, and they
Right.
know our cultures and they know our things, and just sharing a little bit sweets on Eid or something, you know, that makes a lot of difference.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just like my mind is really baffled now between what you just said and between when I ask people to just if you see your neighbor to say Merry Christmas to him, and one of these sheikh he just blasted the community. How dare you even to say this to people to celebrate Christmas? You have to think about your death. You have to think about what you're in the grave. You have to be careful of these guys who try to make political statements for your own gain. And I said to myself, how are we going to live in this country if we think this way, for God's sake? I mean, and just like anyway, I think that we need to do a lot of work. And I keep going back to that example because
Yeah.
I think that's the starting point. If we don't decide that we are Canadian, full-fledged Canadian, okay, I think we're going to have a problem now and 100 years down the road. It doesn't really matter. So if we have a struggle, as you said, just for putting the flower for the the fallen police officer, how wonderful your action was.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that some people blast you for that as well.
Yeah, yeah, and also in March when the COVID came, you know, we took Pakistani rally through PCA. We got approval for 20 vehicles, and we went in front of every fire station, every police station in each quadrant 4 times, different 4 days we picked up, and each day we went to different quadrant and hospital and waved to the people, and they appreciated so much, you know, that Pakistani community did that, you know, they. So
Right.
we have to show those things that we are in their sorrows and their happinesses, we are with them.
So true. And help me here if I'm going to throw these questions on you. What do you think we need to do as Arab and Pakistani community together to get these two community closer and closer? Is there anything you think in mind that we need to do as I said, when we get together, we're all going to benefit from that, including the whole city of Calgary, and plus us as a Pakistani and Arabs and Muslims and the rest of the community. So, is there any recommendations from your experience of how to bring people together?
One step at a time, Sam. One step at a time. We can start inviting them in our. For example, we do some cultural celebration in community hall. You know, we celebrate some day, special day, Independence Day, other days. You know,
Right.
invite some of your friends from your office, from your neighborhood. You know, to come and watch you guys. You know, they should come here and watch us. Second thing is that this is very Calgary is very charitable nation, you know, and there are mustard seeds and a lot of uh, places where they cook meals and give it to the people. Let's just start going once a month for a day, take our family, volunteer over there, you know, go
Right.
with them, sorting out their stuff, you know, cooking or helping in cutting the things. They should see our faces over there. They should feel that we are one of them. We are here. We are not here as a guest. We are one of the Canadians, you know. So if we start doing it, you will see that in 1 or 2 years, you know, things will start changing.
Okay. And in the PCA agenda, is there anything in your programs to reach out to other minority groups or just to reach out to the public in general without specifically try to tie the knots with the similar community like Pakistani Arabs and Bangladesh and all the other communities like Turkish Persians, Somali African and all that stuff. Because in the end, whether we like it or not, we're all in one boat, Ahmed.
Yeah, yeah. Now, just a little bit, as I said, on our Independence Day and stuff, we try to invite some people, and again, this rally which we did, a lot of people saw Canadian flag, our Pakistani flags. On Canada, yeah. One more thing, when this our 1st of July, Canada Day, for last 5 years, I'm in Airdrie. There are 30,000 people, and there are 200 vehicles. There is a float. I'm getting a float over there every year since last 5 years with Pakistan,
Mm,
and we march in that float with our cultural dresses and waving
nice.
the flag. And people see over there 30,000 people in Airdrie every year, and they watch us and they feel that we are proud Canadians, and these are Pakistanis and they are proud Canadians. Then there was ice hockey where we bought certain tickets, and they allowed us to take our flag over there and start marching in the snow field, ice field, with our flag.
Right.
So they saw it's a Pakistani flag. They took pictures, and they will know that what Pakistan is. And Stampede, I applied and I got approved that in a Stampede parade, they will give us Pakistanis a space where we can do our dances and Bhangra dances and drums and stuff. So
That's
those
nice.
are the things, the cultural programs where you should go and present your country over there, so they know that we are part of them, their culture.
So true, and I think these are really important steps to do, because as you said, I mean, we're here to stay, and that's our country as much as anybody else's country. And I think really the struggle, it feels to me that within us more than the outside world.
Yeah, one loss we get is that it's obvious when we apply for a job. There are
Right.
Caucasian bosses. They will hesitate to give a job to Muhammad compared to a Canadian George or Dick or Harry, because he will be more comfortable. That's because
Hmm.
of the gap we have created. If we narrow the gap and he is comfortable that no, these are educated people, they are well behaved people, they are good, he will see the resume and decide on the merit. So
Right.
we are with this separation or with this reservedness, we are damaging our own youth.
So true, but it's
Therefore,
hard. It's hard, Ahmad, when you have people who made it so clear we are different than them. We are not them. We are better. We are the right one. We are. These are not the people. I mean, when that struggle exists, we don't want to deny it. So as I said, we have our this. To me, this I think the problem exists internally by far more than externally, and the outside world is just reacting to our own divide. Having said that, that doesn't mean all fall into on our shoulders, because we do know racism, it do exist. We
yeah,
know white supremacy is there. We
yeah.
know there's a prejudice is there. But I can say that the effort that made by the others toward us are bigger, much larger than us trying to connect with the other side. That's how I see it, and maybe I'm wrong.
I gave you example, in the office, if you tell them I want to pray, they will give you a separate room to pray, and in the
So
camps, in
true.
the hospitals, they let you do the fast, and they give you. So they are open. They are allowing our mosques everywhere, this musallas, although sometimes we park very badly, and in front of their businesses and shops, but they tolerate us. They are very open-minded people.
I have to agree with that. So brother Ahmer, tell us. I've seen you that very since you took the leadership of the PCA. You've done a lot of work, a lot of visible work for us. That's they are interested in your community. So tell us how did you survive your organization? How did you survive the COVID, and what was your organization role in this pandemic?
Yeah, Sam. Unfortunately, when I took over after a couple of months, few months, this pandemic started. So we started giving hampers, and a lot of people were jobless. So we set some Zoom meetings and stuff to help them. Some of our organizations are providing hot meals to the effectees. I think it's first time in PCA history that we applied for some loan, and we
Mm.
got $100,000, for food hampers, because
Oh,
we told them that we will take zero money for our administration. We'll take
did you
$0 for
apply
our
for a loan or for a grant?
it's a grant,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
we told them that 100% of the money will go towards purchase of the food, as 0% for us, $0 for volunteers, $0 for distribution, zero
You'll
dollars for
distribute the whole
packaging,
amount.
whole amount. So that's why they gave us such a big amount. And I'm proud to say that we promised them that we'll give food to 1,000 people, but we surpassed that. And I've already given food hampers to 450 families. So each family is 3 or 4 people.
MashaAllah.
And
Mm,
still,
nice.
I got about 100 more, 100, 200 more hampers, which every Saturday, Sunday, we are distributing, and it will go on. So this is the first time in Canadian, our PCA history, that we got any grant from the government to distribute. Otherwise, we were not getting anything, or we never applied. We can say that. So,
Oh, I see.
so yeah, and so yeah, a lot of motivation. We have. We have been calling our council in Vancouver. People had to go to Vancouver to get their passports renewed or their power of attorney signed. So I
Hmm.
pushed them to send them over here, the consulate office, rather than us going over there. It's $1,000 expense, So three
Hmm.
times they came, and every time there were more than 100 people who were facilitated. They did not have to make trip, and now they have agreed to do all their documentation through mail. So we send our documentation. They call us and ask us to sign in front of them on the video call, and then they
Right.
sign the documents and send it back. Also, I told them that all the PC organizations in Western Canada, they made a WhatsApp group, the High Commissioner, and
Hmm.
we do meetings with them. Any issues or stuff, they right away solve it. Also, the third thing is that they do the open talks once a month. They invite everybody, and everybody can join that meeting and ask direct questions to the ambassador and embassy people, and they answer right away. So we close the gap, which was that, oh, embassy, how can we call and they don't answer and stuff.
Mm.
So we see a question over there, so maybe I'll text her after this program some details.
Okay. So you'll answer that privately. So, Ahmed, when it comes to the two part of the community that I feel like we all need to work on, which is our youth and also women involvement and women engagement. First of all, is that the common common struggle, common like challenge you have getting youth on board and looking after them, and also women, just like the so-called the other side or the other communities, or you have a different kind of challenges.
I think that there are two issues. Women empowerment is easy because most of our uh, female partners or our wives, they are homemakers because of the kids and stuff, so they are not that much involved in the jobs. So that's other organizations are dealing as well for the empowerment. That's the issue there, but main issue is the youth issue. And I think that all the youth, they are frustrated, they are angry if they don't get good marks, the internet, their peer pressure. Some of the drug dealers use them, force them, blackmail them to sell the drugs in their schools and stuff. So I think it's a common problem in our communities. I mean, Middle Eastern or Asian communities both. So
Great.
that's a very dangerous issue. And then the parents like us are in denial. We think that no, our kids cannot do that, and even they see the symptoms, they say no, 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 this is wrong. This cannot be our kid, he cannot. So rehab is a problem for them as well. So I'm working with a group of friends on this issue. I'm trying to find out the reasons and also
Hmm.
how to approach the youth, because obviously there is a communication gap between the parents and the youth. They don't listen to their parents, and maybe teachers, so they listen, or the peers, or uh, So,
Do you feel like the cause of the problem is trying to find a solution for the problem?
yeah, I've engaged a University of Calgary approached me, and they said they've got about 100 students in all all of the world from different universities. They want to do some challenge, resolve some challenge. So if you got some challenges, tell us. So I gave
Hmm.
them two challenges, and I got students who are living in England, Australia, Italy, Mexico, and here. So two groups of students, they are working on these two-part question. One part is that because they are in university now, so they were youth few years ago. So I told them that why youth do these things, silly things, is it the experiment, or is the fun, or it's because of the frustration? So what's the reason you guys do this drugs, and maybe peer pressure, you try to smoke once or two, experiment, and then you are very much go deep into that, or what's the reason? So being past that age, they might be able. So on 8th of this month, they will give me a presentation, what they think about that. So second group, I put a question to resolve: how to approach the youth. Who do you listen?
Mm.
How can we communicate the goods and bads of these things, which can affect you? So second group will be presenting on 8th as well, that how can we, what approach is easier for them. I am
Right.
thinking that maybe small social media of 2 minutes, 3 minutes videos kind of thing, which for the parents
I
as
think,
well.
yeah. Don't you think there's other communities that already are doing this, or maybe they already gone through this stuff? Don't you think we need to reach out to other communities as well and see how they deal with their youth? And I take always the Ismaili community as an example because I feel like they are way ahead when it comes to organizing their communities. And I always try, even I call to one of these Hispanic community leaders to come on board and have a chat, so at least we can learn. Because I'm trying to find why. I mean, there's other communities already doing it, so why don't we try to at least imitate the other communities' experiences and try always to figure out ourselves.
No, it's not ourselves. So I got a group of, as I said, 6 or 7 people. And also, you remember, you interviewed a youth, from Vancouver last time.
Yes,
And he is in my group as well. So because he has
perfect,
done this 7, 8 years work, so I'm learning from their experiences as well. And my
very good.
plan is to give this proposal to our minister, Sergeant sorry, Rajan Sawni, and she
Yeah.
has given us time on 12th. So I'll give her a presentation that then maybe she can direct some government agencies who are working on this. I'm with the Calgary Police; they are in our group as well. So their community officer, lane officer, is one of our group person. They attend our Zoom meetings as well, so they are giving us a lot of good advice as well. So.
That's great. That's good to know. How many members in the PCA, roughly? Registered member.
Uh, Last time when we did the election, we had 2,000 votes were there, and there were about 5,000 members, and but 2,000 came to vote, and
Oh,
now
wow.
we have about 1,200 registered members,
Oh, I
this
see.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So we have 7 minutes left in our time, and I would like to dedicate this, give you this 7 minutes to talk. In case I missed any point that you think you want to address it or you want to tell us about, so I'll leave it. I'll leave that to you, Ahmed.
Yeah, again, advices. They try to try to close this gap between the Caucasian and us. If we are in Canada, don't be too much conservative, and
When we
try.
close it between Arabs and Pakistani, we're gonna close it between us and the Caucasians.
Yeah, like sometimes people play with the religion and make an excuse, and try to fool the things. I was reading a couple of months ago that in East Coast, in Montreal, there was a parent, and he said, "My son don't want to attend the music class because it's haram in our religion." And they
Oh,
said,
I see.
"Okay, at that class, he can sit outside and in the library and do his school work." They said, "No, no, no, even still he will hear the voice, sound of music, which is haram. So leave them to come to our house for an hour during that period, and then he can go back and join." So these kind of examples set a bad impression. So don't use the religion making an excuse for something which you want out of that. That's misrepresentation. So again, another good example is the Eid. So we have always two Eids, and then our bosses always surprised. If I tell them I want to take Sunday off or Monday off because it's my religious holiday, and then another Ismaili friend or another friend, he will come and he say, yeah, Tuesday I want to take off, it's my Eid. So they get confused how many Eids you have.
How
So
many heights we have?
yeah, we have to build up our unity among ourselves, and so that's another small thing which, if we can think over it, so that will be good.
Do you think the government of Alberta doesn't really know which one in power? Do you think the provincial government are doing enough to reach out to these small minority and get them uh, more, let's say, I don't want to use the word organized, but they are more active? Because I really feel like maybe the government need to do a little bit of extra work with different community based on their historic background and cultural background.
I think governments support through funding, and there are so many organizations, NGOs, who are minting money or getting money from them. Some are working very good, some are
Right.
not working very good. Like, for example, a family was telling me last week that they are new immigrants, they just landed, and they went to some immigrant services or something, and there was no service, no guidelines or nothing. They were just told the common things and stuff. So for the rehabilitation or for finding jobs and stuff, they just take your SIN number and charge to the government that we supported so many people, and some typical
Yeah, just the
resume.
file.
Yeah,
Wow.
even now we went to the when I was jobless few years ago, I went to the resume writing seminars by the government, and LinkedIn upgrading, and they were telling us, 10-year-old strategy. You call the company, go door knocking to their office, cold calling, ask them to come with Tim Horton and tell you if there is a job or not. I said, girls, things have changed, technology has changed, go and do some refresher courses. Even their projector was, one bulb was fused and it was very dark, and they said, we have applied to government to give us the bulb so that we can do good presentation, we cannot. So
Mm,
their slides were 10-year old. So those are the things which government can improve to be up to the mark. That's why our
right.
private friends groups, they do these Zoom meetings and rehabilitation or seminars for resume writing or jobs. They are more effective than these government agencies, old traditional
So true. I sometimes I
presentations.
feel those organizations and even some government, they are really more interested in producing a report that kind of say we did the work, we
Exactly.
met this
Yeah.
guy, and here's the minute for the meeting, and here you go. But
Yeah.
really, what did they accomplish? Pretty much almost nothing. And unfortunately, I see it happening all the time. So that's why it's up to us, the community members, to really ask the hard questions, to do the lead by example, and to be strong enough to address our own issues without shying away from it. Because if we don't solve our own problems, nobody will solve it for
Mm.
us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
and
right.
and so as I said, and we see the losses in the youth, and that's for that. I mean, and what I mean by that is that's all the first generation investment is to come here and build a life and buy the properties and have a really nice education and stuff, and then to see the kid end up in some
Yeah.
kind of situation that's really no good. That's a real loss
That's
right
really
there.
is. Yeah. That's
So
right.
Ahmed, the last minute to you. I would like to thank you first for invite for the accepting the invitations to chat with us tonight. And if there's any few words you'd like to say to the your Pakistani community and to my Arab community.
Yeah, I would like to apologize if some of my truths or some things might have hurt some people, and they will start writing that why I said that. And second thing is that avoid the parties, avoid the because of the COVID. Wait till vaccination is done, and till then, avoid the parties and gatherings. We are still doing it at some places, so we should be careful.
Absolutely. And through you and with you, I will leave our salam to all the Pakistani community here in Calgary
Thank you.
and also to your association. Thanks for everything you've done, guys, to help all communities in the pandemic time, hampers or other stuff. Uh, um, um, your community being the way that you are, in my opinion, a bit organized. I think it's a strength to us. It give us a good example that when people come together, work together, organize themselves, they can do things. So best of luck, brother Ahmed,
Yeah,
for you and for your community.
let's plan a potluck, joint potluck. Once the situations are normal, we'll do a gathering, Arab and Pakistani, potluck, and we'll.
Inshallah, wallah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to work on the Arab side first. Hold on. So, so you're gonna
Good,
get the
good
Arabs
luck.
Arab,
Good luck with that.
and then you get Arab Pakistani, and then we got Arab Pakistani with the Caucasians.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Thank you very
well,
much.
thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Salam.
Assalamu alaikum. So, guys, that was my 1 hour with the president of the Pakistani Canadian Association. He's absolutely an amazing guy. I think we have a lot to learn about our communities, about our Calgary, about our Canada. By the end of the day, whatever the struggle, whatever the problems, we have to work on it to find a solution for it. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for all the people who commenting and shared the video. May God bless you. Assalamu alaikum, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Assalamu alaikum.